Hey everyone, it's Kellen Brower with RacerX again with another race examination video. We're going to recap Budds Creek today, and we're going to jump right into Dylan Ferrandis jumping the quad on the Big Gulp uphill triple that is now apparently turned into a quad. Look at Ferrandis launching all the way up the hill. This is the only lap that we saw it on the broadcast, and it was kind of in the background as they were coming back from commercial break, but this is the view of it from the drone cam that they were using, and Ferrandis just launches this thing. It is a big uphill quad, and couple people are saying, like, what should we rename it? Should we rename it to something? But I mean, Big Gulp is the name of the jump. Here's another view from the side that his coach David Villeman posted from Jaybird718. You can see Ferrandis just launching it, and it looks like Eli Tomac behind him is like, whoa, Ferrandis kind of took off on me there a little bit. But this is just massive, and I really wanted to highlight this as we get going here on this race examination video. Next up, I want to talk about Chase Sexton and two corners that pretty much changed his first moto dynamic around entirely. He was battling with Cooper Webb and trying to pass Cooper Webb here for third. Gets up the inside of him after Henry Hill goes down and makes that pass. But then in the very next corner, Eli Tomac swings a little bit wide and Sexton takes advantage of that. And this was a little bit of a turning point for him because he pretty much took off from these guys for a little bit and pulled out to like a 5-second gap from Tomac and the rest of the guys. Ferrandis eventually got him, but Sexton was still able to finish third. But I wanted to highlight why in this specific line right here, Tomac, he was trying to get to this inside line like Sexton is here, but you can see he's kind of blown it and gone to the outside. But, I mean, imagine if Sexton doesn't make this pass right here and then he gets stuck behind Tomac for a little bit. Maybe he doesn't get an opportunity to get away from these guys and set himself up for later in the moto being able to just kind of cruise home in third. So kind of an interesting dynamic how two quick passes maybe formed Sexton's race up very nicely there. Now I want to talk about the 252nd moto start because Justin Cooper did not get that good of a start, which has been kind of rare of late. Jet Lawrence has been the guy who hasn't really got his starts dialed when Cooper has been consistently starting right at the sharp end of the field. Now, Cooper does start in about 7th, but I wanted to highlight here. So he's on the outside of Jet Lawrence going into turn 1, and I'll explain why that's kind of a situation here in just a second. But Lawrence gets a little better of a jump and just kind of pinches him off. Hunter on the outside comes in and peels in as well. So that is why Jet, who ended up starting right next to Cooper, gets out of the corner basically in 2nd place, and Cooper comes through in like 7th or 8th right there. But the reason why this all happens is Cooper has first gate pick from winning the first moto. Jet has second gate pick. So he can then go ahead and just select the gate inside of Cooper. And I also want to detail how the start has changed here at Budds Creek. It used to go along this back wall here, pretty much parallel. Now it's kind of angled in a little bit, and they're doing that to make the first turn a little bit more fair for riders starting closer to the box. So that is why Cooper then has to select a gate closer to the box, and Jet is able to line up inside of him. Otherwise, this start used to be very inside dominant. If you had like the first 5 inside gates, you could pretty much control the corner. Now guys coming from the box into a 180-degree corner sets themselves up for a little bit of a failure if they don't get a good jump right off the get-go from the gate. I want to remind everybody that this video is presented by ONX Off-Road. Nowhere to go with the #1 off-road GPS app. Access 400,000 plus miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Download the ONX Off-Road app today. So getting back to the 450 class and talking about this second moto battle between Dylan Ferrandis and Ken Roczen. Ferrandis came from a little ways back again to get to Kenny, and Kenny was starting to kind of fade a little bit later into the moto, but was holding Ferrandis at bay pretty much for about 8 or 9 minutes to this point, and then Ferrandis sneaks up the inside coming down past the mechanics area here to move into the race lead. And this is a critical juncture, I feel like, in this championship as we come down to the home stretch, and Jason Wygant on the broadcast here kind of explains why.
This is a big moment in this series. If Ferrandis can overcome Roczen, take the overall win, and the points that come with it.
This is a momentum swing now in this championship because Roczen had won 3 of the last, basically, you know, into this fourth moto coming in, the second moto here at Budds Creek. So he won the first moto, he won the 2 motos at Unadilla. So he was trying to go 1-1-1-1 basically off of the break and kind of take this momentum swing with him in his favor down into the final 3 rounds of the championship. You could argue that he's too far back already of Ferrandis. Sure, there's that point to be made, but Ferrandis' desire to win and continue to click off these victories in this championship is what has helped kind of pull this championship lead to what it is at now with 3 rounds to go. It's still 39 points as he and Roczen split on the day, but you can see just how much these race victories have meant to Ferrandis every single time he gets it done. He comes through the field, he makes these late passes, and does it with some crazy charges that have now resulted with him maybe clinching this championship a little early even. The last thing I want to talk about real quick is Ty Masterpool's good save here going up the Big Gulp jump here as Austin Faulkner kind of shoves his way by. And we gave Chase Sexton the save of the day this week on RacerXOnline.com, but I feel like this one was maybe a little bit better, and we didn't talk about it. So Masterpool gets kind of shoved up into the soft stuff here, and the front end kind of knifes when he comes back up the jump right here. It kicks sideways, and he could have very easily turned even further right, gone off the side of the track, but he still lands on the track, corrals it together, and a nice save as we head into Ironman this weekend.